Parents worry about keeping their kids safe, but is all that worrying really necessary?
One woman says, give yourself and your children a break. 9 News anchor Tanya O'Rourke joins us with the top 5 things parents should and shouldn't worry about. Tanya.
Yes, Christy Barnes has written a book called The Paranoid Parent's Guide. She did some research and says what keeps you up at night may not be what should. When the school shooting happened at Columbine High School in Colorado, parents shivered. School was no longer safe to many.
I need a bucket line.
And when the towers fell, terrorism shook us again. Those two things, terrorism and school snipers, make the top 5 list of things parents most worry about. Christy Barnes wrote the book, The Paranoid Parent's Guide, and says she did so because, well,
I was a paranoid parent. I wanted to know everything that I should worry about for my kids. But then I realized I was really not putting them in any priority list. All of these things I was seeing on TV, they weren't really happening in my neighborhood.
So she did research and surveys and found what was and wasn't worth worrying about. Topping the list,
the number 1 worry of parents was kidnapping, the stereotypical kidnapping by a stranger, usually of a younger child. There were 110 of those stranger kidnappings last year out of a group of 83 million.
Terrorism, school shootings, stranger danger, and drugs round out the top 5 parental concerns. And when it comes to drugs, Barnes says studies find kids are hearing the message about street drugs, but need to hear more about prescription drug abuse.
We don't stop talking to our kids about drugs or teaching them. It's working, but recognize what's working and build on that.
Barnes says our checklist for what to really be concerned with is topped by
car accidents. That's the big killer of our kids, but still 50% of parents don't think they have to buckle their kids in town.
Second is homicide.
We feel that there are killer kids in every neighborhood or kid killers in every neighborhood. That just isn't the case.
Suicide and drownings make the list, but Barnes says suicides are more of a concern if you have teenaged boys, drowning if you have young boys. And while we find ourselves concerned with stranger danger, she says we should be looking closer to home.
It's not the strangers who are committing the kidnappings, the homicide, and the abuse. It's friends and family. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 5 boys report having been abused by a family member or a friend by the time they're 18.
Barnes says what you see here on the news causes parents to worry about the wrong things. Usually what makes news is what's rare or unusual, not common and everyday. You can read her list of things to worry and not worry about on WCPO.com. We will also link you to her site so you can talk with the author about these issues as well. Clyde and Carol.